So guys, we were discussing how come Sanjay know what was happening in the battlefield by sitting 1,000 miles away, like how come he had that kind of vision. So I'm giving the example from Osho's time around 1974. So there is a person present in America at that time, his name was Ted Sierra. I would like to say that two things about him so it will be easier for Sanjay to understand. Because Sanjay is far away from us in time and does not know at what unfortunate moment we have started considering all our old texts as fiction. So leave Sanjay. The man alive in America today is one, Ted Sierra, who is able to see anything from a distance of any 1,000 miles. Not only is his eye able to see, but his eye is also able to catch that picture. What we are discussing sitting here, if Ted Sierra sitting in New York is told what is happening on this ground when Osho was giving the lecture in Ahmedabad, so he will sit with his eyes closed for 5 minutes and then he will open his eyes. And in his eyes you can see the picture of everyone sitting, even others. And the camera can also take a photo of the picture that is being formed in his eye. Thousands of photographs have been taken, thousands of pictures have been taken, and Ted Sierra's eye is able to capture any kind of picture from any distance, not only viewing but also capturing the picture. The Ted Sierra incident made two things clear. For one, Sanjay is not omniscient, because Ted Sierra is a very simple man, no one is enlightened. Ted Sierra has no idea of the soul, there is no name for saintliness in Ted Sierra's life, but Ted Sierra has power to look away. There is a special power. So I would say, yeah, Osho is right, this incident makes sense, but what I have known from other sources of Bhagavad-Gita, sage Ved Vyas had given this power as a bliss to Sanjay so that he can become a life commentator for the blind king Dhritarashtra. So how come you may not be able to digest it, but when you will go through the full Bhagavad Gita, then the answer of this will also be there. Like, how can people have special powers? So although Dhritarashtra was offered this power initially, but he declined since he was blind from birth, so he didn't want any eyes now. It seems like his ego is speaking that I am better without eyes. Also, he probably had the intuition that he was on the wrong side of the fight. So even if his sons lose the war, he could probably blame his physical blindness the reason for his not interfering in the war, because he was given a very clear chance initially via Krishna to stop the fight. He could have chosen to cancel the war, but he had two minds, so the other mind was thinking that probably his sons could win the war, and that's how he could also get satisfaction that at least his own eldest son Duryodhana can become the king, although he himself couldn't become the king because he was blind. Dhritarashtra also knows that his sons are not deserving, but still he wants his own sons to be the king, and that shows that he was more of a negative character. Duryodhana was also asked to just spare 5 villages out of the whole kingdom to be given to the 5 cousins Pandavas, and there would have been no war. But Duryodhana disagreed to that consent and said that he cannot spare even a piece of land as small as a needle for his cousins, who were the real owner of that land. So basically Duryodhana said, I don't give a fuck about my cousins, and it shows his level of hate towards them, because he was proud and considers him at the top and thinks that only he deserves the kingdom because his dad is the king. Like, he may not be proudy, but the thing is he wanted the kingdom because his dad, because he thought like it's like just passes from dad to son. Although his dad was just representing the kingdom on behalf of his younger brother, who went away for some time for an urgent matter. Younger brother was the Pandava's father, who was the brother of Dhritarashtra, who went for an urgent matter, the Pandu king, and until he comes back, the younger brother renounced his elder brother Dhritarashtra the king. So Pandu made Dhritarashtra the king the younger brother because he was physically well, he was not blind. So that the kingdom is not left without any king. So that was the only reason he renounced him. Recently, I also watched a documentary on Sony BBC Earth about a blind person since birth who was able to ride a bicycle just like a normal person would do, and he can also tell what things are in front of him without even touching them. He uses the bats technique and makes a sound via his mouth. If the sound comes back faster, he knows that there is some obstruction around that area. His mind was tested and it was found that his ears responded more than a normal person. And even if he is blind, his brain is able to interpret the signals received via his ears, and then he starts picturing what objects are in front of him. Basically, Dhritarashtra was more than capable, but he was born blind. So he complained about his misfate and blamed God all the time. But the strange part is that when he was listening to Bhagavad-Gita via Sanjay, then he too agreed with Krishna and realized his mistake. But later again, he went below his ambitions and wanted the crown for his son. So there was a little bit awakening, but then he again lost into the material world. So this also happens with us all the time. We have sometimes, then we are lost again. Even though his son was not capable like him, like he was capable more than enough, Dhritarashtra, who was physically blind. So even then he wanted his son to be the king, even he knows he is not capable. Like he was capable, Dhritarashtra. Like there is one more incident at that time when Osho was giving the lecture. A few days in Scandinavia, a man fell to the ground in an accident from a car. He suffered a head injury, and when he regained the consciousness in the hospital, he was in great difficulty. He felt a whisper in his ear as if someone was singing. He thought that maybe I had lost my mind, but within a day or two, everything began to become clear. And then it was also clear that the radio station, which was within 10 miles of his ear, had started catching that radio station. Then all the study of his ear was done, and it was found that there is no feature in his ear. But some hidden power in the ear has been activated by the injury. The operation had to be done because there was no way to turn that button like on or off. For 24 hours he started listening to the radio station. So he was going mad. So 2 years ago, a woman in England started seeing the stars in the sky during the day. That also happened in an accident. She fell off the roof, and then stars in the sky began to appear for her vision during the day. The stars are in the sky even during the even during the day. They do not go anywhere. They are covered only because of the sunlight. The night opens again when the light is gone. But if the eyes can see through the sunlight, then they can see the stars even during the day. The woman also had to undergo an eye operation. I am saying this because the powers are also hidden in the eyes. This is as per Osho, which can be seen in the sky during the day. There are also hidden powers in the ear which can catch extended sounds from the distant radio stations. There are also hidden powers in the eye which can be seen by crossing the boundaries of time and space, but they have nothing to do with spirituality. Even I used to watch Superhuman's show on Discovery Channel, which inspired Stan Lee about all his anime characters like Spider-Man. Some people are born with some special powers, but if they don't have any spiritual knowledge, then there is no use of these powers. As even if they use it, later they will realize they misused it. So it is not that Sanjay is a very spiritual person. Sanjay is definitely a special person. He is able to see what is happening on the battlefield far away. And it's not that Sanjay has attained any god or any truth because of this power. It is likely that Sanjay ended up using the power, then he died. So this is according to me. I consider Sanjay to be a good-hearted person who spoke the truth and explained everything that was happening in the battlefield without any modification. So now you all must be wondering, how can I come across this conclusion? The answer will be in Bhagavad-Gita. You have to listen through whole. Although there is a Sadguru these days that says the opposite and says Sanjay, being the charioteer of Dhritarashtra, was his servant and modified Bhagavad Gita in order to please the king. So it's a possibility, he said, or maybe he was not lying. So Sadguru had doubts about Bhagavad Gita to be authentic. I would say that such doubts come only in those minds who can't understand Bhagavad Gita. After they fail to understand it, you can practically check the authenticity of Bhagavad Gita by observing your own life, since it's all practical. But still you don't have to understand it fully, as it's independent and it benefits in whatever parts you have understood. This often happens. Special powers lead a person astray badly. Therefore, yoga consistently says that whether it's normal powers of the body or whether it's the special powers of the body, the psychic powers, the person who gets entangled in the powers does not reach the truth. He often ends up misusing them because of his ego that I had these powers. But it is possible, and here in the last 100 years, psychic research in the West has done a lot of work, and now there is no reason for any man to doubt Sanjay, even on a scientific basis. And it's not just that this is happening in a religion accepting country like America. Even psychologists of Russia are constantly acknowledging the infinite powers of man. And due to the incident of going to the moon, a new work has come on all the psychologists of Russia and America, and that is, instruments cannot be trusted too much. And when they send Earth's inhabitants on a journey to space, they are sending them into a profound danger. And if the instruments are damaged even a little bit, the relations with them will be severed forever. And then we will never find out where those passengers got lost. They are alive or not alive, into what infinity they have strayed. We will not be able to trace them. Therefore, the scientific laboratories of both Russia and America are very eager to be seen, heard, and sent news from a distance without a machine as a substitute, like using a supplementary system, like without sending anyone. And it will not be too late that both Russia and America will have Sanjay. So we don't have to have Sanjay. So we already know the AI technology and robots are coming, so they don't even need to send the human beings, like Osho predicted already. Sanjay is not a very spiritual person, but Sanjay has a special power which all of us have and can develop. In my point of view, yes, you can achieve anything you want, but the question is, are you worth gaining it? Even if you are not and you still got that power, later in your life you will surely realize that you were not worth of it and you wasted your life on misusing them when you will have full knowledge. So then Bhagavad Gita Shlok starts. Sanjay said, at the time of preaching for the war, seeing the army of Pandavas, Duryodhana went to Dronacharya, his guru, and said these words. Guru means the teacher. So he was a teacher for both the Pandavas and Kauravas, but Arjuna was his most special student. He was most dear to Dronacharya. He said, behold, O Acharya, this great army of Pandavas created by the sharply witted disciple Drishtadyumna with the arrays of Shakt, lotus. In the army of Pandavas, all the warriors, knights, archers and valor are equal to Bhima and Arjuna. Among them are Satyaki, Virat, the great Drupad, the Maitri, Drishtaketu, Chetikanya, Kashi Raja, Narsheta, Purjit, Kunti Bhoja, and many others, Vikranta, Para, Kampali, Yudamanyu. Abhimanyu is a special character. He is the son of Arjuna, whose wife was Viral Subhadra, so he is also participating. And the 5 sons of Draupadi, all of them are the great warriors. O Acharya Var means the teacher, Duryodhana is saying, I ask you to know the heroes of my army who are superior in strength, vitality, might, etc. among us. So basically, If you want to know more about them, you can see my old videos which I already explained.